For speedrunners, Mission 8 has always really been in contempt. This is because the second half of the level completely relies on a 50-50 RNG, a completely random chance if you win or not. That's how it seems at least, but luckily for us, it's a bit more forgiving than that. Basic premise of the level is to find a way past a wall of light and get into the actual mansion area, where we have to find our target and eliminate him. We need to loot his key and access his safe, and only then are we able to escape with Megan. As always, we'll start off with the basics, and then dive deeper once you know how the level works and how it looks like. Our first run, only a day after the release, shows us a good example of all the cutscenes, which might or might not be skipped later. They will be, you already know this, you're smart, you know how this goes. Other things to really point out are that the mana conservation here is extreme, almost always regenerating fully before doing another blink. This is one of those things that might go unnoticed, but it's really understandable when we did not have a clear picture of the route. Well, actually, the picture we had was kind of like looking at your grandpa's old VHSs from a 4-inch black and white telly in the woods. You kinda understand what's going on, but you really have no idea. Our first chosen method out of many to get past the wall of light involves climbing this tower and using the height advantage to simply jump and blink past the barrier. Simple is sexy, remember this folks. There might have been a little incident involving loading a save after a death here on the railings, but because Votium is an epic gamer and more importantly a Twitch subscriber, I'll just simply forget about that. Why would you want to see that anyway? It's not good content. We simply make our way past the railing without dying, not even once, by running on the beams above it, and then simply continue by blinking on these lamps and running to our destination. Now, after this run, I will explain all about Duke in too much detail, don't you worry, but all you have to know now is that Duke luck was the best he could have gotten. This is the best luck you can get, and Vo was blessed. On the flip side, I don't think he got an animation while getting rid of Duke, but let's pretend I didn't just forget to redo this clip and instead wanted to show this to you. I mean, it's cool to see once, right? Like I said before, after the Duke, we make our way to Delilah's statue in the safe, and after interacting with it, we are free to head towards Megan, who's slowly but surely coming here, I promise. Before we even get to properly dive into the runs, we have to take a slight detour, albeit a very important one, to take a look at how our main target, Duke, works. There's 3 things you really have to know. There's 2 Dukes, one real, one fake. He's the body double. There's always a singular Duke, real or fake, in his own quarters. There's 4 alternative locations, one of which is the spawn of the other Duke that is not in his quarters. The premise is pretty simple. This is the map, just find the Duke. Well, this map kinda sucks, so I made my own, and we're gonna follow it along. In his own quarters, we always find a Duke, preferably the real one. It can be indicated by either the quest progression status changing, or simply which key he is carrying. When we continue downstairs to Delilah's quarters, we can have a Duke. When we continue downstairs, we can also very easily have nothing. This prompts us to head to Duke's office and possibly find him there, marking the 3rd spawn of the Duke. Just like before, this trip can be in vain, as we still have 2 locations to scout, and speaking of scouting, what we do here is very important to decide where to go. You'll see soon. The next destination is the throne room, and while Corvo cannot actually do what I'm doing right now, we cannot just simply snipe him. That's not the point of this, I just want to show you where they are. For the last location, we'll have to go back to where we scouted. It might be a bit of a pain in the ass to see, but trust me, there's 2 red guards there. And that's always an indication that Duke is in the area. Once again, don't do this in speedruns, you can't actually snipe him like this, you need the fucking key, okay? Thanks. Now that we have a basic understanding of the mechanics and the level, we can start looking at improvements. As the level is basically cut in 3, Skiff, mainland, and the mansion, a big portion of the improvements tie together in the end, but it will look a bit silly as they're kinda minor in their own right. Don't let that fool you though, all of these are important. First improvements were a mana potion and some incendiary darts. Those were very easily looted at the start of the mission. Next up, there's a rewire station easily accessible right by the dumpster near the Wall of Light. This made passing it completely risk-free. This drop down to Duke's quarters is still the main way to go even this day. We already used it to leave, why not enter through it as well? Well, the real reason was we didn't quite realize you can just shoot doors. Next up isn't strictly a strat, more like piece of history, as Björni happened to be the first person to have a world record with bad Duke luck. It didn't end up costing him almost any time, as this is the best case scenario. At this point, we were getting pretty tired of the Wall of Light, and started looking at more solutions than rewire or escalator strats. This lamp ended up being a long-term solution for that problem. As August of 2017 rolled around, unsurprisingly, leaps found their way into this mission as well. This box leap was hated by many, yours truly included. Some reason a lot of these objects on this road aren't easily leapable, if that is even a word. It's now, so our best bet to follow up was to use this desk. Now, I'm not really that proficient in math, but there was give or take a billion different variations of this leap, standing, crouching, dead, alive, underwater, just to name some, or that's what I at least remember. The variations kept increasing for this box leap or desk leap, whatever you want to call it, and this one was one of my personal favorites. It looks really snappy. Yet another leap was found, a cozy one from this pillar after the station. But something else happened during this run that takes the cake. This run was the first double Duke, aka 2 bad lucks in a row world record. But I could not for the life of me force a spawn of the Duke inside his office anymore, so let's just pretend we found him there, okay? Thanks. This leap at the start of the second section is still in use to this day, and I love it. But once again, there's actually something way more impactful that a viewer from YouTube actually recommended I try, and that is skipping the dialogue of Megan by taking damage, more specifically with a whale oil tank. Thank you so much, you definitely made a huge impact on the run, as this saves 15 seconds, and that is a lot. Beautiful. No other words really. Pretty self-explanatory too. You just take damage and cancel the dialogue. Now it's time for one of my favorite segments. What the fuck? Oh yeah, the skiff is a thing that exists. By throwing a bottle right above us and interacting with Megan, we time it perfectly so the cutscene gets interrupted by incoming damage. This pole leap was extremely awkward, by the way. Luckily, we didn't have to endure that awkward leap for a long time, as this much better one was found. It took us 2 years to start using it. Holy shit, it just wasn't that good at first, but like, I would actually trade my firstborn for it now. And to add to the intro chaos, introducing the last bottle skip of the mission, skipping Megan's dialogue after interacting with the skiff by throwing a flammable bottle precisely after jumping and blinking. You can just get the timing right so it hits Megan at the right time and saves about 3.5 to 4 seconds. Improvements obviously did not end there. Although this first leap, it wasn't really used after this. Seeker just used it because he's funny and French. The same trick that is used in Mission 4 and 6, blinking through the Wall of Light using a guard's hitbox, can be used, but it's really hard to use here. You don't have any room for error. And with that, we have covered all the major strats. I'm showing a couple extra ways to get past this Wall of Light here. This is like the fastest. This is about a second faster than blinking through it. And then if you clip like this is like just a couple seconds slower than just blinking through with a guard, but 100% safe. But yeah, I'm in the process now to make all of these videos into one big video. I obviously have to edit a bit. I need to make these outro sequences a bit different. A lot has changed since I made the Mission 7 one. Now I live in a different city. It's been 6 months already almost, and everything's weird. Life is weird, but hopefully you are all doing very good. Delilah mission shouldn't take that long. I was a bit afraid of getting the footage for this mission. There's a lot of variance, like you might see. So it's a bit of a bitch. So putting all of this together, a bit of a bitch. And I appreciate all of you who watch these because it's nice. It's going to be fun to put the thing together. I need to re-voice over the first 3 missions and just kind of polish it up a bit. But I can just use the footage, so it's all good. But yeah, that's mission 8 done, and hopefully I'll see you in the mission 9 in not too long of a time. No promises, but I'm already working on it, so catch you later. Really appreciate y'all. Bye-bye.
わかった。お望み通り。